When the massive alien ships first appeared in Earth's sky, they came without warning. One moment, the stars twinkled peacefully above major cities across the world, and the next, enormous shadow shapes blotted out the light, hanging silent and threatening in the atmosphere. Commander Park stood at the window of Earth's Unified Defense Force headquarters, hands clasped behind his back, watching the nearest vessel hover over the city. Its hull gleamed with an oily purple-black sheen that seemed to swallow sunlight rather than reflect it. "How many?" he asked, voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. 3,000 warships detected so far, sir," replied his communications officer. "They've positioned themselves above every major population center worldwide." Park nodded once, his face betraying nothing. 10 years of preparing for this moment, and still the scale of the Armada took his breath away. Intelligence had suggested maybe a few hundred ships in the alien fleet, not thousands. The large screen at the front of the command center flickered to life, revealing a being with pale blue skin and eyes that seemed to contain miniature galaxies. The alien wore what appeared to be ceremonial armor decorated with symbols that shifted and changed as if alive. "People of Earth," the alien spoke in perfect, slightly accented English. "I am Fleet Commander Tay of the Galactic Dominion. Your planet has been selected for integration into our empire. You will surrender all governmental control within 24 Earth hours and prepare your population for processing. Resistance is—" The alien paused, seeming to search for the right word. "Unnecessary." The transmission ended abruptly, leaving the command center in stunned silence. Park turned to his team. "They think we're defenseless," he said with the hint of a smile. "Contact Dr. Kim immediately." Deep beneath the surface of Seoul, in a facility that officially didn't exist, Dr. Kim received the alert on her specialized tablet. She'd been expecting this call for years, had run simulations thousands of times, but nothing quite prepared her for the real thing. She took a deep breath, brushed a strand of hair from her face, and entered the activation chamber. Identity confirmed. "Dr. Kim, Defense Project Alpha," announced the computer system as she pressed her palm against the scanner, awaiting final authorization. The chamber was circular, its walls lined with screens displaying real-time data from around the world. Each screen showed alien ships hovering over different cities: New York, London, Beijing, Cairo, Rio, all waiting like patient predators. "They have no idea what they're in for," she whispered, entering her access code. The system acknowledged her input with a series of soft tones. "Planetary Defense Network activation sequence initiated. Time to full. Deployment 30 minutes. Across the globe, hidden installations began powering up. Beneath the ocean floor, buried in remote mountain ranges, disguised as ordinary buildings in busy cities, humanity's secret weapons stirred to life after years of development and testing. In orbit, satellites that the aliens had dismissed as primitive communications, technology began subtle transformations, their outer shells falling away to reveal advanced defensive platforms. Back at headquarters, Commander Park received the notification that the defense network was coming online. He opened a secure channel to all military commanders worldwide. "This is exactly what we've prepared for," he told them, his voice calm and determined. "Operation Thundershield is now active. All units, proceed according to protocol." The alien ships remained motionless, their sensors scanning Earth's surface, completely unaware of what was happening beneath the seemingly primitive exterior of human civilization. Inside the lead vessel, Commander Tay reviewed the data with growing confidence. "Their military technology is at least 2 centuries behind ours," he told his officers. "Their most advanced weapons can barely reach orbit, let alone penetrate our shields. This will be the easiest integration we've performed in decades." His second-in-command approached with a report. "Scans show they're scrambling their military forces, Commander. Shall we demonstrate our power to encourage their surrender?" Tay considered for a moment, then nodded. "Select 3 military bases, different continents. Nothing too devastating yet. We want their infrastructure intact." What the aliens didn't realize was that humanity had detected their advanced scout ships years earlier. A crashed alien craft, recovered and reverse-engineered in secret, had given Earth's scientists crucial insights into the invaders' technology. For a decade, the world's nations had worked together in unprecedented cooperation, pooling resources and knowledge to prepare for this inevitable day. As Dr. Kim watched the countdown timer on the main screen tick toward 0, she thought about how strangely united humanity had become since learning they weren't alone in the universe. Old enemies had set aside differences. Borders had become less important, and the survival of the species had taken precedence over ancient squabbles. Planetary Defense Network at 70% capacity, the system announced. All primary nodes online. In the sky above Seoul, the alien ships began to move, positioning themselves for their demonstration of power. Energy signatures built up as weapon systems came online, targeting military installations below. Commander Park received the alert that the aliens were preparing to attack. Just a few more minutes, he muttered, watching the defense system. Status indicators climb. Across the world, people looked up at the alien ships with a mixture of fear and awe, unaware that beneath their feet, in secret facilities and hidden bunkers, humanity's greatest technological achievement was about to reveal itself. The timer reached 0 just as the first alien vessel fired. Defense network fully operational, announced the system. Dr. Kim took a deep breath and pressed the activation key. Let them come, she said quietly as humanity prepared to show the galaxy that Earth would not fall so easily. The alien ships positioned themselves over 3 military bases, one in the Pacific, another in Europe, and the third in South America, their weapons charged with a purple-white glow that grew brighter until it hurt to look at them. People around the world watched through news feeds and social media streams as the first attack against humanity began. Commander Tae stood confidently on the bridge of his command ship. Fire, he ordered calmly. Beams of energy lanced downward from the alien vessels, cutting through clouds and atmosphere, aimed directly at Earth's supposedly defenseless military installations. The alien crew watched their targeting screens, expecting to see explosions and destruction. Instead, something unexpected happened. Just before the energy beams reached their targets, they hit what appeared to be invisible walls. The deadly energy splashed and dissipated like water hitting glass, spreading outward in beautiful but harmless patterns of light. What happened? Demanded Tae, his usual composure cracking slightly. Report. His weapons officer frantically analyzed the readings. Unknown defensive technology, Commander. The energy was completely absorbed or deflected. In the underground command center, Commander Park allowed himself a small smile as reports came in from all 3 targeted bases. Shield systems working. Perfectly, he confirmed. Now, let's show them what we can do. High above Earth, objects that the aliens had dismissed as primitive communications satellites suddenly shed their outer casings. What emerged were advanced weapons platforms that had been hiding in plain sight for years. Without warning, they powered up and targeted the alien vessels. Sir, energy signatures detected from Earth orbit, shouted the alien sensor operator, panic evident in his voice. Before Tae could respond, precise beams of concentrated energy shot from Earth's orbital defenses. Unlike the aliens' weapons, these beams were specifically calibrated to exploit a vulnerability in the alien propulsion systems, a weakness discovered from studying the crashed scout ship years earlier. The beams struck with surgical precision. 27 alien vessels shuddered as their shields failed unexpectedly. Critical systems overloaded, resulting in cascading failures throughout the ships. Some merely lost power and drifted helplessly, while others erupted in spectacular explosions that lit up the sky. Impossible, exclaimed Commander Tae as damage reports flooded in. Their technology was supposed to be primitive. How could they possibly? Sir, they're using weapons based on our own technology, interrupted his science officer after analyzing the attack pattern. Somehow they knew exactly where to hit us. On Earth, General Lee coordinated the counterattack. From Pyongyang Command, a massive underground facility built into the side of a mountain. His calm demeanor belied the intense concentration on his face as he studied the tactical displays. Perfect first strike, he noted. 27 enemy vessels neutralized, no civilian casualties. His lieutenant looked up from her console. Sir, the aliens are regrouping. Looks like they're planning a full assault. Lee nodded, having expected this. They're angry now. Time for Phase 2. He pressed a button on his command console. Send in the Thunderbirds. Across Earth, hidden hangar doors slid open in remote mountain ranges. Desert floors split to reveal underground bases, and ordinary-looking warehouses transformed as their roofs retracted. From these secret locations emerged humanity's greatest technological achievement, a fleet of spacecraft built using technology reverse-engineered from the alien scout ship. The Earth ships were smaller than the alien vessels but moved with incredible speed and agility. Their hulls gleamed silver blue in the sunlight as they shot upward into the atmosphere, breaking formation into pre-assigned attack patterns. Commander, Tay watched in disbelief as hundreds of Earth vessels rose to challenge his armada. "This is impossible," he muttered. "Their development timeline couldn't possibly—" "Sir, incoming transmission from Earth," announced his communications officer. The main screen showed Commander Park's face, calm and collected. "This is Earth Unified Defense Force. Your attack has been repelled. We did not start this conflict, but we are fully prepared to finish it. You have 1 hour to retreat from Earth space, or we will be forced to continue defending ourselves." Tay's expression hardened. "You think a handful of stolen technology makes you our equal? You've merely copied what you don't understand. We have 3,000 ships. You cannot hope to—" "We don't need to defeat your entire armada," interrupted Park. "We just needed to show you that the cost of invading Earth will be higher than you expected." He leaned forward slightly. "Check your long-range scanners." When Tay did so, he discovered that Earth's orbital defense platforms had repositioned themselves to surround his fleet. Each platform now glowed with energy, ready to fire again. "Full attack," Tay ordered, his voice rising with barely controlled fury. "All ships target their orbital platforms and emerging fleet." The space above Earth erupted in brilliant flashes of light as the battle began in earnest. Alien energy weapons clashed with Earth's defenses, creating spectacular auroras visible from the ground. People around the world watched with a mixture of terror and hope as humanity fought its first interstellar battle. In a command center beneath the ocean floor, General Lee tracked the engagement closely. "Their tactics are predictable," he observed. "They're used to overwhelming technological superiority. They don't know how to fight an opponent who can actually hurt them." He turned to his communications officer. "Send the signal to Major Sung. The Thunderbirds are cleared for full engagement." Earth's ships moved in perfect coordination, using maneuvers specially designed to exploit weaknesses in the alien formation. They darted between the larger alien vessels, targeting engines and weapon systems with precision strikes before quickly retreating. From his flagship, Commander Tay watched in growing horror as his supposedly invincible armada began taking serious losses. "How is this possible?" he demanded of no one in particular. "We've conquered 12 worlds with this fleet. These humans should be cowering, not fighting back." What the aliens couldn't understand was humanity's greatest strength, the determination to survive against all odds. For centuries, humans had prepared for this moment through science fiction, war games, and constant technological innovation. When the actual threat appeared, they were psychologically ready in a way the aliens had never encountered before. As the battle raged above, people on Earth united as never before, regardless of nationality or background. In cities around the world, civilians gathered in squares and parks, watching the lights in the sky that represented humanity's fight for survival. They cheered with each alien ship disabled, their faces illuminated by the distant flashes of combat. General Lee allowed himself a small smile as more reports of successful engagements came in. "Send in the next wave," he ordered. "It's time they learned what humans are capable of when our home is threatened." Major Sung gripped the controls of her Thunderbird fighter, feeling the ship respond to her thoughts almost as quickly as her hands. 6 years of training for this moment, and now she was leading humanity's first space combat squadron against an alien armada. The neural interface hummed gently against her temples, connecting her directly to the vessel's systems. "Thunder Squadron, form up on me," she ordered through the comm system. "Remember your training. Hit and run, just like we practiced." 12 sleek fighters fell into formation behind her, their engines glowing blue against the blackness of space. Below them, Earth looked peaceful, blue oceans and swirling white clouds showing no signs of the existential battle being fought above. Target the command ships, Sung instructed. Their fleet coordination depends on those big ones with the antenna arrays. The Thunderbirds accelerated toward the heart of the alien formation, moving so quickly they appeared as little more than streaks of light to observers on the ground. Alien targeting systems struggled to lock onto the agile Earth vessels, their technology designed to combat opponents of similar capabilities to their own. Inside his flagship, Commander Tay barked orders as chaos erupted around him. Bring secondary weapons online. Reconfigure targeting parameters. They're too small and fast for our main cannons. His tactical officer worked frantically at his station. Sir, they're using some kind of stealth technology. Our sensors can only track them intermittently. Tay slammed his fist onto the arm of his command chair. Impossible. These primitives couldn't possibly. His words were cut short as the entire ship shuddered violently. Warning alarms blared throughout the command deck. Direct hit to our communications array, shouted an officer. We're losing contact with the fleet. Major Sung pulled her fighter into a tight turn, avoiding enemy fire by mere meters. Good shot, Thunder 7, she commended, as she watched the alien flagship's communication array erupt in flames. All units continue attacks on priority targets. The Thunderbirds danced between the massive alien vessels, striking with precision before darting away. Their weapons, based on technology from the crashed scout ship but enhanced by human ingenuity, cut through alien defenses with surprising effectiveness. While the space battle intensified, another front was opening in the electronic realm. Deep in a secure facility in Busan, June led a team of the world's best hackers in an unprecedented cyber assault against the alien fleet. Their systems are advanced but predictable, June explained to her team, as their fingers flew across adaptive keyboards. They rely too heavily on automation and AI. That's their weakness. For years, Earth's computer scientists had studied the alien technology recovered from the crashed scout ship. They'd found that while the aliens' computing power was immense, their software architecture contained vulnerabilities that human hackers could exploit. I've got access to their navigation subnet, announced one of June's team members, eyes fixed on scrolling lines of alien code. Initiating the virus now. Across the alien fleet, ships suddenly lost navigational control. Some drifted aimlessly while others fired thrusters at random, colliding with nearby vessels. The coordinated attack pattern that had made the Armada so formidable began to dissolve into chaos. Commander Tay watched in growing horror as his fleet fell into disarray. What is happening? He demanded. Some kind of cyber attack, replied his systems officer, frantically trying to regain control. They've somehow breached our firewalls. Nothing like this has ever happened before. Tay couldn't understand how a supposedly primitive species could mount such an effective counterattack. What he didn't know was that humanity's entire history had prepared them for this moment. Centuries of warfare against each other had honed humans' tactical thinking in ways the aliens couldn't comprehend. Decades of science fiction had mentally prepared people for the concept of alien invasion. And years of warning, thanks to the crashed scout ship, had given humanity time to develop effective countermeasures. In orbit above Earth, Major Sung watched as the alien fleet's formation crumbled. It's working, she reported back to command. Their ships are losing coordination, General Lee's voice came through her comm system. Excellent work, Major. Admiral Tay's flagship is isolated. Time for Phase 3. In the hacker facility, June smiled as her team successfully penetrated deeper into the alien systems. We're in their weapons control now, she announced, initiating shutdown protocols. Throughout the alien armada, weapon systems suddenly went offline. Massive energy cannons powered down mid-charge, leaving the ships effectively defenseless. On the alien flagship's bridge, panic was setting in. Sir, we've lost weapons control on over 60% of the fleet, reported the tactical officer, his voice shaking. And we're still losing ships to their fighters. Commander Tay stared at the tactical display in disbelief. His mighty armada was being systematically dismantled by a species he had dismissed as barely space-capable. "How?" he whispered. "How could we have been so wrong?" What the aliens failed to understand was humanity's unique evolutionary path. Unlike the aliens, who had evolved in a relatively stable environment and developed technology gradually, humans had emerged as persistence predators on a constantly changing planet. This had given humanity an unparalleled adaptability and determination that the aliens had never encountered in their conquests across the galaxy. Back on Earth, in the underwater command center, General Lee watched the battle unfold with grim satisfaction. "Have the second wave of Thunderbirds prepare for launch," he ordered, "and tell Dr. Kim to ready the gravity pulse. It's time to end this." Major Sung's fighter dodged debris from a destroyed alien vessel as she led her squadron on another attack. "Run. Thunder Squadron, form up. We're targeting their propulsion systems now." The Thunderbirds accelerated again, their enhanced engines leaving trails of blue light as they cut through the battlefield. They targeted the alien ship's engine sections with precision strikes, leaving more and more of the massive vessels drifting helplessly in space. In the hacker facility, June accessed the aliens' communication systems. "I'm in their fleet-wide comm network," she reported, "broadcasting our message now." Throughout the alien armada, every communication device suddenly displayed the same image, a simple animation of Earth with a protective shield surrounding it, followed by the message, "Earth is defended. Retreat or face destruction." Commander Tay saw the message appear on his bridge's main screen. For the first time, true fear began to creep into his mind. In all his years commanding the invasion fleet, he had never encountered a species capable of not just resisting but actively defeating his forces. "Sir," said his second-in-command hesitantly, "perhaps we should consider a tactical retreat to regroup and analyze their capabilities." Tay's pride wouldn't allow it. "No, deploy the ground forces. We still outnumber them. Once we establish footholds on the surface, they won't dare continue attacking our fleet." But as the aliens prepared to launch their ground invasion, they were about to discover that humanity's determination extended to every aspect of warfare. Earth's defenders had prepared for this possibility as well, and they were ready to meet the invaders on the ground just as effectively as they had in space. Major Sung received new orders through her neural link. "Thunder Squadron, return to base for resupply. Ground forces are deploying to meet their landing parties." As she turned her fighter back toward Earth, Sung looked out at the battlefield. Dozens of alien ships drifted powerless, while others burned or listed with critical damage. For the first time since the massive ships had appeared in Earth's sky, she allowed herself to believe that humanity might actually win this fight. "We're coming home," she reported to command, "and we're bringing victory with us." Colonel Han watched from the ridge as the alien dropships descended through the atmosphere. Their hulls glowed red-hot from the friction, leaving trails of superheated air behind them. To anyone else, the sight might have been terrifying. Hundreds of enemy vessels bringing invasion forces to Earth. But Han had been preparing for this moment for years. "They've taken the bait," he said into his tactical radio. "All units maintain position and radio silence. Let them land." The Gobi Desert stretched out before him, its vast emptiness now serving as the perfect battleground. Intelligence had correctly predicted that the aliens would choose large open areas for their initial landings. What they hadn't counted on was that these locations were far from random. They had been carefully selected by Earth's defenders years in advance. Through high-powered binoculars, Han observed the first dropship touchdown, kicking up a massive cloud of sand. A ramp extended from its side, and the first alien troops emerged. They were tall, nearly 7 feet in height, with bodies covered in what appeared to be natural armor plating. Each carried weapons that looked like a cross, between rifles and spears, glowing with the same purple-white energy as their ship's weapons. They moved with a strange, fluid grace that suggested they were stronger than humans. But Han wasn't worried. Physical strength alone wouldn't save them. "Look at them," whispered his second-in-command beside him. "No environmental gear. They're breathing our air without protection." Han nodded. "Overconfident." They didn't do their homework. The alien troops formed up in neat rows, a traditional military formation that might have been effective on their homeworld, but made little sense. In the desert environment, more dropships landed, disgorging hundreds more troops until a force of nearly 2,000 aliens stood in formation on the desert floor. Han allowed himself a small smile. Begin Operation Sandstorm. Many miles away, at the edge of the designated battleground, Earth's engineers activated the massive fans they had buried beneath the desert years ago. Initially disguised as mining operations, these installations had been specifically designed for this moment. The aliens' first indication that something was wrong came when the wind began to pick up. Within minutes, a howling sandstorm engulfed their landing zone. Visibility dropped to near zero as millions of tiny sand particles filled the air. In their command dropship, the alien captain struggled to maintain order. Deploy scanning equipment. Establish a perimeter. But their scanning technology, designed for detecting energy signatures and metallic objects, proved nearly useless in the blinding storm. The sand particles interfered with their sensors, creating thousands of false readings. Colonel Han's forces, meanwhile, were perfectly prepared. Each soldier wore specially designed gear that not only protected them from the sand, but also masked their heat signatures and contained no metal components that alien scanners could detect. They moved through the storm like ghosts, virtually invisible to the invaders. First wave, move in, Han ordered quietly. His troops advanced silently through the sandstorm, approaching the confused alien formation from all sides. They carried weapons specifically designed for this encounter, compressed air rifles that fired special darts. The darts themselves contained a fast-acting sedative, developed based on biological samples from the crashed alien scout ship. The first alien went down without a sound, the dart penetrating a gap in its natural armor near what appeared to be a breathing apparatus. Others followed in quick succession, collapsing into the sand without ever seeing their attackers. They're stronger than us physically, Han had told his troops during training. So we don't engage them physically. We use our environment, our knowledge of our planet. Earth itself becomes our greatest weapon. As panic spread through the alien ranks, they began firing wildly into the storm. Their energy weapons, while devastatingly powerful, created bright purple flashes that only revealed their positions to Han's forces. Second wave, move in, Han ordered. Gas deployment authorized. Specialized drones designed to operate in extreme weather conditions flew low through the storm, releasing a gas compound that had been engineered to affect the aliens' respiratory systems. It wasn't lethal, just disorienting, causing confusion and mild hallucinations. The effect was immediate. Alien troops began stumbling around aimlessly, some firing at their own comrades, others simply dropping their weapons and wandering off into the desert. Han watched the chaos unfold through his enhanced vision gear. This is Alpha Team, Phase E. 1 complete. Moving to Phase 2. Similar scenes played out at landing zones across Earth, in the Siberian tundra where extreme cold immobilized alien equipment, in the Amazon rainforest where engineered insects delivered microscopic tracking devices to the invaders, in the Australian outback where falsified heat signatures led entire alien battalions into prepared ambush zones. Humanity had turned Earth itself into a weapon. Every environment, every ecosystem had been studied and weaponized against the potential invaders. The aliens, expecting to face inferior technology, instead found themselves fighting an entire planet that seemed determined to reject them like antibodies attacking an infection. In orbit, Admiral Tay received increasingly desperate reports from his ground forces. "Sir, ground teams are reporting heavy casualties," his communications officer reported. "They're encountering unconventional resistance." Tay's patience had run out. "Enough of this. Prepare for orbital bombardment. If we can't take this planet intact, we'll make an example of it. Target their major cities." "Sir?" his weapons officer replied hesitantly. "Many of our ships are still disabled from their cyber attacks and fighter strikes." "Use what we have left," Tay shouted, his composure finally shattering. "Burn their civilization to the ground." The remaining functional alien ships repositioned themselves over Earth's major population centers, their main weapons powering up, for devastating strikes that would kill millions. But Dr. Kim had anticipated this possibility. In her underground facility in Seoul, she initiated the final phase of Earth's defense plan, Quantum Disruptor Network Online, reported her assistant. Ready on your command. Kim took a deep breath. This technology was Earth's most closely guarded secret, developed not just from the alien scout ship but from decades of theoretical physics research. It had never been tested at full scale. Activate the network, she ordered. Across the globe, hidden installations powered up, creating an interconnected web of quantum fields designed to interfere with specific energy frequencies. Precisely, those used by the alien weapon systems. As the alien ships fired their orbital weapons, the energy beams simply disappeared, absorbed by the quantum disruption field and redirected into harmless electromagnetic radiation that manifested as spectacular aurora displays across the sky. In the Gobi Desert, Colonel Han watched the colorful lights dancing above, the continuing sandstorm. He allowed himself a moment of relief before returning to the task at hand. All units continue operations. The orbital threat has been neutralized. By now, most of the alien ground forces had been incapacitated without ever engaging in direct combat. Han's troops moved methodically through the landing zone, securing alien technology and taking prisoners. One alien officer, still conscious despite the sedative, looked up at Han with what might have been confusion in its strange eyes. Why, it struggled to speak through its translator device. Why don't you just kill us? Your tactics, not like any species we've encountered. Han knelt down beside the alien. Because we're not fighting to exterminate you, we're fighting to survive. There's a difference. The alien seemed to consider this for a moment before unconsciousness finally took hold. In orbit, Admiral Tay stared in disbelief at his tactical display. His ground forces defeated, his orbital weapons neutralized, and half his fleet disabled or destroyed. Sir, his second-in-command said quietly, we should consider surrender. We cannot win this fight. For the first time in his long military career, Tay faced the possibility of total defeat. In just 3 days, a supposedly primitive species had systematically dismantled his invasion force using technology and tactics unlike anything he had encountered in a lifetime of conquest. His response was interrupted by a new alert from his sensors officer. Sir, energy buildup detected from the planet's surface. It's massive. Dr. Kim had activated the planetary defense grid's final capability, harnessing Earth's magnetic field to generate an energy pulse that would disable any remaining alien ships. The technology would require Earth's entire power grid and could only be used once, but the moment had come. Admiral Tay had one last decision to make as the energy wave approached his crippled fleet: continue a hopeless fight, or live to tell the galaxy about the species that had accomplished the impossible. The massive energy pulse washed over the alien fleet like a visible wave of blue-white light. Ship after ship went dark, their engines and weapon systems completely disabled by the electromagnetic disruption. On the bridge of his flagship, Admiral Tay watched helplessly as his command console flickered and died. All systems unresponsive, reported his engineering officer, frantically trying to restore power. Backup generators offline, life support running on emergency reserves. Tay stood silently, staring at the blue-green planet below. Just 72 hours earlier, he had arrived with the largest invasion fleet in the Galactic Dominion's history, confident in an easy victory. Now his mighty Armada floated helplessly in space, defeated by a species he had dismissed as primitive. Sir? His second-in-command prompted. Your orders? Tay closed his eyes briefly. In 300 years of military service, he had never faced defeat. The concept was almost impossible for him to process. Open a channel to Earth, he said finally, his voice barely above a whisper. Use the emergency transmitter if necessary. In the command center beneath Seoul, Commander Park received the incoming transmission. The main screen showed Admiral Tay, his usually immaculate appearance now disheveled, the bridge behind him lit only by emergency lighting. "This is Admiral Tay of the Galactic Dominion," the alien said, his voice stiff with suppressed emotion. "I request terms for surrender." A cheer erupted throughout the command center. Officers embraced each other, some openly weeping with relief. 3 days of non-stop combat had pushed everyone to their limits. And now, against all odds, they had won. Park raised a hand for silence, his expression remaining professional despite the historic moment. "This is Commander Park of Earth's Unified Defense Force. We accept your surrender. All hostilities will cease immediately." The terms were simple but firm. The aliens would leave Earth's solar system once their ships were minimally repaired. They would return all human prisoners taken during the brief ground campaign. And they would provide detailed star charts of nearby systems along with information about the Galactic Dominion and other spacefaring civilizations. As Earth's engineers helped the aliens restore enough power for life support and basic propulsion, news of the unprecedented defeat spread rapidly across the galaxy. The quantum communications network that connected the Dominion's worlds buzzed with disbelief and alarm. On Nexus Prime, the capital world of the Galactic Confederation that had sanctioned the invasion, the High Council convened an emergency session. "Impossible," declared Counselor Rock, pounding his fist on the ornate table. "Tay's fleet was the most powerful ever assembled. These humans must have had outside help." High Admiral Jin, the military representative on the council, shook her head. "Our intelligence was simply wrong, catastrophically wrong. The humans were not the primitive species our scouts reported. Somehow, they detected our advanced surveillance and concealed their true capabilities. Or developed them very quickly," added Counselor Pax, the oldest member of the council. "There is another possibility we must consider. What if the humans are simply different from us? What if they possess qualities we do not?" The council chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. For millennia, the Galactic Confederation had expanded through a combination of diplomatic, absorption, and military conquest. They had encountered hundreds of species, but none had ever defeated a full invasion force. Until now. Back on Earth, humanity celebrated its improbable victory. Cities around the world erupted in festivities. As people who had been hiding in bunkers emerged to find their planet saved, the alien ships, now partially repaired, began their slow retreat from Earth's orbit under the watchful eyes of the remaining defense platforms. In New Seoul, President Song addressed the first diplomatic delegation from other worlds, representatives of 12 spacefaring civilizations who had arrived with unprecedented speed once news of the human victory had spread. The grand reception hall had been hastily converted from a military planning center. Where once battle maps had dominated the walls, now hung the flags of Earth's nations alongside newly created banners representing the visiting alien worlds. President Song stood at the podium, looking out at the diverse gathering of extraterrestrial visitors. Some resembled humanoids, others were utterly alien in appearance, breathing through specialized equipment or moving on multiple appendages. On behalf of all humanity, President Song began, her voice steady despite the momentous occasion. "I welcome you to Earth. 3 days ago we faced extinction. Today we take our place among the stars." The alien representatives shifted uncomfortably. None had expected to be dealing with humans so soon or under these circumstances. One delegate, taller than the others with iridescent scales covering its body, stepped forward. "I am Ambassador Dahl of the Cygnus Cooperative," it said through a translation device. "My people have traveled 17 light years to meet the species that defeated the Dominion. We wish to establish peaceful relations." Others stepped forward with similar statements. The message was clear. Humanity had earned the galaxy's attention and respect through its unexpected victory. In a quieter moment following the reception, Colonel Han stood with Dr. Kim on a balcony overlooking New Seoul. The city sparkled below them, its lights reflecting the celebration that continued into the night. "I still can't believe it worked," Han said, looking up at the stars where alien ships were still visible as moving points of light. "All those years of preparation, never knowing if we'd detected them in time, if our technology would be enough." Kim nodded, her expression thoughtful. "It wasn't just the technology. It was how we used it. The aliens expected us to fight like Them? Direct confrontation, force against force. They never anticipated our adaptability. The human factor? Han agreed. Throughout our history, we've had to overcome stronger predators, harsher environments, more powerful enemies. It's in our DNA to find unexpected solutions. Across the ocean in the Unified Defense Force headquarters, Commander Park reviewed the information provided by the defeated aliens. The star charts showed hundreds of inhabited worlds, many under the control of the Galactic Dominion, others belonging to different alliances or remaining independent. This changes everything, he said to General Lee, who stood studying the holographic display. We're not alone and we're not safe yet. The Dominion might return with a larger force once they understand what happened, Lee nodded solemnly. Then we need to be ready. Not just with defensive technology, but with alliances. We need friends out there. Within weeks, humanity began its first tentative steps into galactic politics. The technology recovered from the alien vessels provided the key to faster-than-light travel, and Earth's first diplomatic starship, aptly named Defender, prepared for its maiden voyage. Captain June stood on the bridge of the Defender, looking out at the stars with a mixture of excitement and apprehension. Her crew represented nations from across Earth, chosen for their expertise and adaptability. Setting course for the Cygnus system, reported her navigation officer. FTL drive charged and ready. June took a deep breath. Less than a month ago, humanity had been fighting for its very existence. Now they were about to travel to another star system as equals, not as conquered subjects. Engage, she ordered. As the Defender leapt into faster-than-light travel, carrying humanity's first ambassadors to the stars, stories of Earth's victory continued to spread throughout the galaxy. The planet became known as the Unconquerable, a world of beings who had accomplished the impossible. In a quiet corner of the Galactic Confederation's central archive, a new entry was added to the historical database. Earth, home to a species of remarkable adaptability and determination. Approach with caution and respect. Recommended status, potential ally, never enemy. And across the stars, civilizations that had lived under the shadow of Dominion expansion for centuries looked toward the tiny blue world with something they had almost forgotten: hope.